Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test. Yeah, we have this microphone right here for the questions. We'll kind of place it back here and keep it on, and then we'll do one. We have 2 mics, so we'll pass the other mic around too.
Testing. Julie, can you hear me?
I'll be over here adjusting audio too.
the community forum group. So we're doing the best we can to provide an opportunity for general council members and candidates to interact with each other. We're really hoping this works out so the folks that are getting absentee ballots can get to know the candidate tonight and tomorrow night before they actually vote. So I think that's timing's going to work out good. We will be bringing the mic to you so you can ask your question, and the candidates have a mic of their own that they'll answer with. So let me go over really quick the ground rules. All candidates are required to arrive. They've arrived. You'll see that there's one person here tonight, a candidate who is not on our list. That's because she decided to drop in. She wasn't sure she could make it, but she could. So Jill's here, and she's not listed, and she doesn't have a survey filled out. So she'll do her best to describe herself within the ground rules. So cell phones need to be silenced. No side conversations. No disruptive behavior. Be silent when other people are speaking. The candidates will have actually 1 minute to make an introduction each. The surveys are out in the back of the table if you need to grab the surveys that the candidates filled out about themselves. Let's see. The general counsel has 30 seconds to ask a question. The candidate has 1 minute to respond. We have 2 timekeepers here up front, so they'll be kind of managing you guys, stop at 30 seconds, and the candidates to stop at 1 minute. We wanted people to park out front because only the front doors are open, and then just general kind, be considerate, no disruptive behavior. Moderators, which I guess tonight is me, will do our best to help audience members get their question through. You will ask your own question, but if it seems like it needs to be clarified, we'll ask you to clarify. Is that about all of our ground rules? Okay, with that, if everyone's got the packet for this evening, I think we'll go ahead and start. And I just asked for Ellen to start, and they'll pass the mic down. Sorry, I apologize. Kim Minthorn is going to give an invocation for us. I got ahead of myself.
Tatskalawa inam himiwa kalatiwa inam winikisamita watamilstan mai. Just wanted to see if we could have a moment of silence for the Jones family.
It's with my Jones family right now. Honestly, could wish I was right there with them, helping them with the search party right now. But yeah, we just got to keep praying about that situation. But I'm the daughter of Amos and Natalie Pond, granddaughter of Sid and George Martin, and the late Janie and Dr. Ronald Pond. I'm here tonight running for the Board of Trustees member at large. I believe my leadership is shaped by my commitment to our tribal values, building strong relationships with our people, and putting our tribe first. I'm respectful and considerate of our way of life and our community and our cultural ways. I also value our different needs and rights to our tribal members, and I also stand on advocating for our children, elders, and first foods. I believe these things are all worth fighting for. So, Katsiaya, thank you.
Tots kalawit inem hemiuma kalautuama Tatoka timki winikwash ka'awalikin Nixyaawii keet nich pizza. Good evening, everybody. My name's Jill Marie Gavin. My mother is Shauna Gavin Shalal, and her mother was Atwai Ruth Tyus, and her father was Atwai Laverne Shalal. I brought myself out here tonight to first thank everybody who came out here, thank everybody who takes their time to be careful and mindful in their votes, and also thank this group of people here for putting the event together so that we can all learn more about each other in a respectful space. And thank you everybody who joined online, and I hope that everybody finds their way tonight in a good way without having any negativity, and that we can uplift each other. And for all those who are grieving now, Makis Katsiayo.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Corinne Sams. I'm currently a Board of Trustees member for the Confederated Tribes. I'm finishing up my third term as a member at large. I currently have the honor and privilege to serve as the Fish and Wildlife Commission Chair, as well as the Law and Order Committee Vice Chair. Along with the Delegation for Fish and Wildlife, I served on the Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission as a previous chair, currently secretary. I'm the lead negotiator for the Columbia River Treaty, as well as USV Oregon, and also the Columbia Restoration, or the Columbia Basin Restoration Initiative. I formerly served on the QUIC committee in my last term, that is the CTUIR Community Wellness Improvement Committee, and I also currently keep up to date on all the MMIWP issues that I'm delegated through Law and Order Committee. Welcome, and it's good to see everybody. I was part of this Nixyaawii for.
Just for so you know, at 15 seconds you get the warning. So, just to clarify that.
That's good to know. Nikolawa Inishwanisha Tecumseh Inishwanisha Shiapushpa Derek Pachukwema Quimps. I am a 9-year U.S. Army veteran. I am running for BOT member at large. And I am an advocate for the language program, and also I'm an advocate for MIWRP. And reason why I'm running for BOT member at large is, like for me, I've been seeing a decline in language amongst the people since for the last 10 years, ever since it changed different under a different umbrella, as you could say. And that's my main reason why I'm running, and I'm happy to be here, and I'll answer any questions that you have for me. Thank you.
I wanted to emphasize too that this isn't our only group this evening. We'll have another 4 candidates from 6 to 6:55, and then we'll do general counsel, vice chair candidates from 7 to 7:55 tonight. So the list of who's going to be here next is on this sheet, and it's in the back. With that, we can open up for general counsel questions. Does anybody want to kick it off with a question? You state your enrollment number and your name, please. I'll bring the mic to you.
Susan Shuships, X468. I just wanted to inquire about your thoughts about the high power line that the board has approved to run through the reservation down to Hemingway to transport electricity to Idaho.
Susan, would you like one specific candidate to answer that? We only have time for 1 minute response. Oh. For Corinne.
Could you repeat the question?
I was just reading the quick summary on Facebook today that the board has approved, made a motion to approve the high power line through the res to the, well, I don't know, it might be the ceded territory for a high power line to run from Boardman to Idaho to transport electricity to Idaho.
Yeah, thank you for the question. And it's complicated because now we're working with energy, and we've pushed an initiative, right, in the Columbia Basin to try to work holistically to replace energy in that sector. Well, part of the issue is getting transfer lines to provide energy to different places, specifically Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. And so in order for us to move other initiatives for salmon restoration and replacing energy in those sectors, to replace for irrigators, recreational users, all of those things while trying to make it safe for salmon, we're going to have to make some difficult decisions coming down the road in how we deal with energy and the transfer of energy and how we continue to mitigate for that in a way that we can be environmentally and culturally competent in how we do that. So we're going to see more of those decisions coming our way. Thank you.
Anybody else want to ask a question? Boots. Also, if you could choose your candidate that you would like to pose the question to, that would be great.
Boots Pond, X 1934. Question will be for Ellen. What needs to be done in order to build a stronghold with the towns in our ceded lands, such as Richland, Kennewick, and Walla Walla? What can be done there?
Could you say the question again, please?
Yes, ma'am. So what needs to be done in order to build a stronghold with the towns in our ceded lands, such as Richland, Kennewick, and Walla Walla?
I'm not really sure what you're trying to say.
So just so when it comes to relationships with the city governments there, with Richland, Kennewick, the city of Walla Walla, what steps need to be taken to further the bonds with those governments there as a tribe?
I think communication is good, networking, maybe going to their town meetings, just collaborating with those cities and having a good relationship with them. I believe communication is key for us to have a good relationship in order to build the bridges. Because at the casino, and I've worked there for over 28 years, and it's good to have that communication. That's my thoughts.
Anybody else? Question? Okay. And we'll ask one question each first, and if we have time at the end, we'll come back and do more questions.
Hi, my name is Joanne Malamaliyamich. I was going to say chart number. Enrollment number 1098. This question is for Derek Quimps. You had mentioned that you've noticed or seen that the tribal language program has decreased. What are you proposing and or what plans do you have to strengthen it as well as create more money to go toward the language program?
I would propose to go back underneath the 9 tribes and also have its own, back to what it was before. You know, back in Kaimo, it used to be its own entity under the 9 tribes. And for that, it'll be back to being elder-led like it used to, and have like the children go over there for actual immersion. And not just children, you know, adults, young adults, and to go back into it and just try to bring it back into homes like it used to, from what I remember from before I left. It was a very strong program, and I was seeing the immersion programs, and I was seeing kids speaking more fluently and everything else. And then when that stopped, it just it was kind of heartbreaking just to see it where it was like nobody was speaking anymore. And those same children don't even speak anymore because it's English dominated in homes now and in schools.
Next question. Here we go. And just a reminder, we'll conclude this group at 5:55. So if you have additional questions, if we have time, we'll get them at the end before 5:55. So ask your priority question first.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Elliott, X727. My question is for Crystal Pond Kirky. Yeah, okay. So it's in your bio, you say that you've been, since you've moved home, you've been helping out at the elders at the elder program. And the times that you've been at the senior center the past several weeks, what do you see as the biggest need that the elders have at this time?
I honestly would like them to have a new tribal building for their meetings, and I don't know how long that building's been there, but I believe that they need a new building there or somewhere else. They deserve that. They deserve more newer housing. I remember too, back in the day, we used to have breakfast for the elders. They don't do that no more. That's very sad to me because you guys used to have the best breakfasts. But I would really want and push for a new tribal building for the elders. Thank you.
Next question. Boots, did you want to go ahead?
Question will be for Jill Marie. Boots Pond X 1934. So, similar question to Ellen, but a little bit different. How important is it to build relationships with the Yakima, Warm Springs, and Nez Perce tribes, and what steps could be taken to strengthen those relationships there?
Katiaya Boots. It's incredibly important that we all work together. I have known the history of signing our treaties and all of the negotiations, and we've been told by our elders how we've all worked together on the river and how we're all relatives. But it wasn't until spending a fair amount of time in Zone 6 that I was able to see what we're able to achieve when we work together. And I know that there's a lot of issues in that area, and the tribal members, they're underserved, they're underfed, and they have so many hard times, but seeing everybody work together as one people has been one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. And I know if we could put more energy towards doing that legislatively and on a policy level, that would be great. Katiaya.
Next question. Oh, here we go.
This is for Core Sams. Core, you know, one thing is that we hear a lot of talk about what the board is doing for tribal members, but I'd like to hear from you. What is the priority for serving tribal members? And what is the priority if you were to get reelected again?
Thank you for the question, Coco. So the Board of Trustees currently is in our annual work plan and budget review process. As you know, we'll be in a budgetary deficit over the next several years. And then with the federal cuts and then the cuts coming down from state. And, you know, it's always been our priority to prioritize tribal members and direct services first. And that's what we've continued to do. And so through this budgetary process, we have to be very mindful of the things, the corners and things that we're going to have to cut, and to ensure that it doesn't affect direct services to tribal membership. But we will be in a budgetary crunch for about the next 7 years. And so ensuring that the organization continues to prioritize on-reservation and off-reservation tribal members is essential. Thank you.
Anybody else? I'm going for second rounds of questions. I'm coming.
Kathleen Elliott, X727. This question is for Derek Quimps. With the budget deficit that we are going into for the next 7 years, you know, per Core Sams right now, hopefully that will change. With veterans being one of our, you know, we our people's goal is to revere our elders, revere our veterans, take care of our veterans because they've taken care of us. They're the ones that are, you guys are the ones that are, we're the reason we're sitting here today. So anyway, just want to ask, what ideas do you have to get more of our veterans out there and being more active with you?
Thank you for the question. Me also, I'm training to be a VSO with underneath Sam Spino. One thing that I could really just say though to try to get veterans out there more active with us is really just going out to see them. You know, make sure they're still here on the reservation. You know, I have been making calls to veterans to see if there's, you know, if they will communicate or they want to talk or if they want to be a part of something. You know, like we let them know about the Veterans Committee meetings that happens on Thursdays, and we have one tomorrow. Everybody's invited, from what I understand, to see what we're doing. We are talking about housing for veterans and elders, you know, in the area over there that's still going through a process itself. And like I said, it's just communicating, actually going out there to go see them. And there's only just 2 of us at the moment, and really just, you know, more likely just gonna have to, you know, spend the money to get out there, you know, our own money to actually talk to them.
Anybody else?
Susan Shuships, X468. Ellen, I was concerned about the loss of the Office of Special Trustees on our reservation, and I wonder if you can tell us, you know, what you know about the inherent functions of our federal government and what the Board of Trustees should do to make sure that we as citizens are getting services from the Bureau of Indian Affairs and other entities. Thank you.
To be honest, my whole life was at the Wild Horse, so all of my expertise is from Wild Horse and business. So I would have to, it'd be a learning experience for me to come down here and work with the tribe. So I have to be honest that all of my expertise comes from Wild Horse, the policies, training, everything that I know, and also being an artist is business. So to be honest, that's all that I am. That's all that I know. So I'm not really that familiar with the question, but I'm just being honest with you. But I do have great ideas about if we wasn't in a deficit and, you know, didn't have the money to progress. But I'm about safety, and also like having like a helicopter for faster service for when we have wrecks and tragedies that happen on the mountain. Oh, I guess it's stopped.
Kat, did you have your hand up? I think you had it up a minute ago. Try to keep it in order.
Hi, Kat Brigham, X543. I guess the question, I'm not sure who to ask, but all of you. And I guess, you know, the casino has been our cash cow. It's been our economic driver. Have any of you thought of any other opportunities for economics in moving us forward? And Helen got her hand up, so.
I have a whole list here. I would also like to build a 24-hour urgent care, and it would also allow non-natives to use it, because people just go down at the casino. And it's to me, life is time. And so the faster we get them to service, the better. And also, I would like to build a riverboat casino with Salilo, and that we could have our workers go there, train them, have a 5-10 year plan so we can make more money for them, build them up, build us up so we can train. It's time to wrap it up. Oh, okay. All right, we're going to make more money. I know you like that, so let's get more dividends. Also, I guess now it's stuff.
Can I start? I believe our tribe's growing, and the casino with the expansion growing, that's going to create more revenues, and for a lot of things to progress, possibly in the next couple of years, our dividends can increase. So with the expansion of the casino, I feel like that's going to be good for us and a lot of other potential businesses. Thank you.
Kasiaya Kat, I appreciate the question, and it made me think about my time on the Housing Commission and the discussion about the missing middle, and that is the lack of middle-class housing here in our community that keeps us from keeping our dollars from recycling within our own community. We can't have our own economic structure. We can't be recycling our money within our own community. We're only buying outside of our community. We don't have a car wash. We don't have all of the things to sustain an economy because we don't have enough housing. And if we are to invest in our people, to make sure that they can get a housing loan and build a house and live here on the reservation, as well as being able to sustain an entire family domicile rather than just 2 bedrooms, because I don't know about you guys, I got a lot of kids. So 2 bedrooms don't do it. So we need to be looking at what kind of housing that we're building, make sure it's family friendly and accessible. Kateya.
Thank you. I would agree. Jobs need houses. But in order for us to provide any more expenditures to expand our economical growth, I think we have to take a look at the entities that we are currently operating. And some of those entities aren't profitable. And so we need to really take a look at what Cayuse Technologies is doing and what it's going to provide in the future, as well as Hamleys and Birch Creek. And until we can get those feasibility studies done to decide what we're going to do with those entities, we can't really put any more dollars into building new infrastructure. We put Karen Mills Springs in, which I think will build more businesses. The first place they went in, it was an empty lot. Now there's 5 other businesses there at that business park. And so we're hoping that that occurs here, but we definitely need to take a look at the businesses that we own and operate currently.
I agree. Housing is a main issue, businesses. And speaking of like cash cow, I know about the Wild Horse Fund. The Wild Horse Fund grant that we can apply for, especially as programs, we always apply for it. I know that right now we're trying to utilize that to fix the memorial, the Veterans Memorial, and also add more names on there. From what I understand, there's almost close to 200 names that needs to be added onto it, and other conflicts that have happened recently, and and even future conflicts, and all that. And but yeah, I agree with everybody else said over here. Especially the main issue is future jobs, housing, and also like I said, if I really want to go for elder-led, actually have a good pay for the elders to teach language to the children and to future generations. Thank you.
Let's see, who was next with a question? Do you have a question? I'll get right to yours then.
Joanne Malamalimo, X1098. So the question I had was, what initiatives or policies do you think the tribe should prioritize to address water quality and ensure all residents have access to clean water? And this would be probably to all of you.
I guess I'll start first. One, I've been hearing talks about getting a water purification facility here on the reservation. I think right now there's talks like where they're going to put the site, for that, so that everybody can actually have clean water, and so they can have that security of actually don't have to worry about, the chemicals that go through our systems and everything else, or through the rivers itself, because of the farmlands that are above, at the river and everything else that chemicals they use. But like I said, that's just from what I said. I'm just only hearing about talks of that. And from one thing that I probably would push for that, to have a facility to where we can actually purify water so people can actually have clean water and drinking water, or I would say in military terms, potable water. Because I used to be a water purification specialist in the military. So I know a process for that to actually have clean water for people.
Thank you for the question. So we will have a water waste treatment facility soon, but I also think that we have to align our policies within our organization. We have a climate adaptation plan. We have several other entities that have different versions of that, and we're not all in alignment throughout our entities, and we're not all in alignment within our organization. And if we really want to crack down on water use, we have to create policies within our housing department. Maybe we don't utilize grass. Maybe we take the grass out and put natural native plants in there, so we're minimizing our water use. But it has to be community buy-in, turf. We need our recycling center back. The Water Commission does an amazing job at updating the Board of Trustees on all of the different issues going with our water. We have some well issues in our community right now, with wells needing to be deeper, and so it's going to be infrastructure needs for over the next 25 years if we really want to get a handle for a 100-year vision.
Thank you, Joanne. On a policy level, I think it's incredibly important that we continue our goal of implementing our unwritten law in every different code and every different policy that we have. And when we have our foods, we have the water first. Nothing else can exist without water. So I think it's important to make sure that that is clear throughout all of our different policies, as Corinne said, as well as making sure that we're supporting the Water Commission and encouraging the Fish and Wildlife to work closely with water as well. And then on a personal level within homes, access for elders, especially, and veterans, needs to be a little easier for them to access those resources. I know people who have needed a well for a long time and they just can't afford it. So being at a policy level, directing staff to allocate time to go out there and look for additional funding for our people. Katiaya.
The strengthening community resilience within tribes FEMA training I went to, I brought up different situations, emergency situations, and some of these things were, if we have a drought, it has had little like scenarios for us to do. But I know one of the tribal members also brought up the usage, water usage at the golf course. They use a lot of our water, and I love the golf course, don't get me wrong. I don't, I love golfing up there, but yeah, a lot of our, that's something we need to look into is a lot of that water being used up there for the golf course. We could possibly look into collecting rainwater as something for, saving water. But there's a lot of different good ideas with the water facilities, and I believe our water is very important to us. So, all right, thank you.
I'm all for clean water and healthy water because we all need water to survive. And I think that's one of our most important commodities is to have clean water, good food, stay healthy. And I know we've had a water problem ourselves, and we had called the tribe to ask for help, and they would send somebody over to test the water, and they said it's good. It's like, all right. But I would talk with, I know that the boardman had some nitrogen problems also with the water, so I'd also would probably communicate with probably Tri-Cities, boardmen, and the problems that they're having in order to find out what they're doing and how they're handling the situation with having problems with the water, and also with the tribe, because I know the tribe is very, very intelligent, and they know what they're doing, and now I have to stop.
I think Rosenda was next.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all of you folks that are up there, for taking questions and everything, because I know it's not the easiest thing in the world. And I'm not sure who this is directed to, but whoever wants to answer it. And I'd like to talk a little bit about enrollment. And I don't know if you folks are familiar with our enrollment procedures here, and how, what's the, people sometimes don't like to hear the word quantum. They don't want to hear that word, and why don't they? I don't know. I'm not embarrassed to say what my quantum is, and we shouldn't be. But I just want to know, like now, what is, Cora might be the only one that might know this, because I know you folks are new, but how much Umatilla blood do you have to have to get, in order to get enrolled here now? Oh, Rosenda Shippentower, X384.
So the enrollment requirements are the same. So grandparent or parent with a total of a quarter blood. So your parent or your grandparent has to be enrolled, and then a total of a quarter blood. But that can come from anywhere. The only thing that we don't accept is Canadian blood. So currently we have a feasibility study that's occurring in the enrollment office, and they will report back to the Board of Trustees with several options. So what we do know within the feasibility study is they will determine how many generations from now till we will not have any more enrollees, and then what options we can do to either, maybe we don't use blood quantum, maybe we include Canadian blood, maybe we do citizenship, but during the process, the General Counsel needs to be updated, because ultimately they will be the ones making the decision, because it would have to go to referendum to change the requirements of enrollment.
It's a really important topic. I know a lot of people want to comment on that. I wonder, can we save the last 5 minutes for each candidate to talk about enrollment? The last 5 minutes. So let's wait a minute to respond, and then each of you can respond for a minute at the end regarding the enrollment question.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Yeah, I've got folks that haven't got to ask a question yet. So right now I'd like to get the mic to people who haven't had a chance to ask a question.
Alex Nilo, X1713. This question is for CORE. How do you define the ethical boundary between advocating for something you believe in and crossing the line into improper influence or pressure?
You don't. You take an oath to uphold the policies and procedures and the Constitution and the bylaws of the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation. And you follow the board procedures, you follow the Constitution, and you follow the Treaty of 1855. And if you can't do that, then you probably shouldn't be in a position of leadership.
Do we have anyone who hasn't had a chance to ask a question yet who would like to ask a question now? So I think. Oh, here we go.
Andrea Hall, X1109. What is your number one top priority? If you could pick one, the number one.
Do you want to start? Yeah, Derek can go down.
My number one priority, and anybody that knows me, they know that my number one priority is language, for this community. Because as much people don't want to talk about it, it is disappearing. It is almost extinct. That is my number one priority for that, so we can go back to elder-led programs, and actually having. I know I've seen at powwows people pass out pamphlets, for like the language words and everything else, but not everybody knows the alphabet. People can have the books in there, but they don't know how to say the alphabet unless they speak to an actual master speaker. So that's why I'm like, hopefully we can actually, especially on the radio, we used to hear the language on the radio. We don't hear it anymore. Why is that? So maybe we can bring that back also. But yeah, that's my number one priority is advocating for language.
My number one priority is continue to advocate within the federal and state systems to ensure that our treaty rights and our sovereignty is upheld. Currently, with the federal shutdown and the loss of so many federal employees, leadership as well as our staff are continuously out educating new federal agencies, our state partners about their trust responsibility to tribes, and that is not going to stop under this administration. We are going to have to continuously meet with congressional delegates in Washington and Oregon and at the federal level to push initiatives for the CTUIR because they are not upholding their trust responsibilities currently.
Nixyaawii. My number one priority is the General Council and what their wishes are and our people and how they guide us. We have all of these systems set up within our government so that our people can speak directly to their elected officials to let them know what it is that they need and what it is that they want. And it's really important that we as elected officials, whoever gets on here, is willing to listen to the General Council. And if they vote in opposition of what the General Council says from this floor, they need to be able to stand on that. They need to be able to answer to their people. They need to be able to say why. And they need to not be cowering away from those questions or not being willing to answer those things, because that's your job. That's your job, is to serve your people. Your job is not to be out front. It's not to cut ribbons. It's nothing but to be here and be of service. And you cannot be good at service unless you're willing to listen. So that's my number one priority, is really getting to know the General Council, what it is that they want, what they need, and listening to my people. Nixyaawii.
My top priority, I'm a mother, so I advocate for the children first. The early learning child daycare, there's a wait list, limited supplies, limited space. That program should not be struggling. Our children should not be struggling. Our children are the future leaders, and I'm not saying the world needs to gravitate towards them, but mine do. But You know, our children are very important, and that's who I'm advocating for first. So thank you.
Thank you. Mine is to protect the Treaty of 1855 and listen to the people, and also to be open, and that I can be approachable, and that if they wanted to come to my office, they can come to my office if I'm elected. And also I'd like to find ways of being creative and making more money for the tribe in business.
I wanted to make sure we saved that last 5 minutes for Rosinda's question regarding enrollment. Is there anybody who has a question who hasn't got to ask one yet? Then we'll just move into Rosinda's enrollment question. You good? Okay. All right. Rosinda, if everyone, like I said, we're doing our best we can to get everybody's questions in and get the answers out that we all think are hot topics. So if you don't mind, I'll let Rosinda have the mic again to describe her question. Then each candidate can take a minute to answer.
What are your thoughts on reviewing the current enrollment criteria?
This is,
What? Oh, and I think that's the main thing, you know, or, you know, I guess if you want to simply answer, no, it's set in stone, we want to keep it, you can say that. But you can also elaborate a little bit and say, I think that we need to take a look at it. We're kind of dwindling down our who we really are. But, you know, who am I to say who really is who? And that's why I'd like to see a large effort put into that before, you know, before it gets too late. And the reason I say that is that, you know, we have people just like Miss Gavin said, you know, she said she's got a lot of kids, and so what can we do? You know, all these kids were enrolling, and, you know, are they Indian? I hope so. So that's what I want to know. Thank you.
I think we probably need to have a general council meeting, have Tony be here, answer our questions, and be transparent with our enrollment and how the guidelines are. And we can also ask her questions there. And I know that long time ago that we used to have a commission that we had elders that would say yay or nay, you're in the tribe or not, and depending on your family blood. But I would be open to figure out what we can do with the enrollment. But first of all, we probably have to have general council, and it's always up to the people. That's my belief.
The enrollment situation topic is a very touchy subject with a lot of people I know. There's good views on it and there's bad views on it. I would vote on keeping it the same though. That's my opinion, personal opinion. But as far as that subject goes, it's something we need to be more aware of, and truly talk with the elders more about it and what they think, you know. But in the end, it's a very complicated subject to talk about. I don't want to offend anybody at all about it. But those are my thoughts and feelings on the enrollment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Rosinda. I appreciate the conversation. I know that the views are varying far and wide. I know that I don't need an enrollment card to know who I am and my connection to this land here, no matter where I grow up, no matter what my skin color is, no matter what my quantum is. But I think it's important to note that if you have a quantum above 1/4 and that you're able to be enrolled, it's easy to say you don't care about sharing your quantum. Mine is 1/2. My kids are 1/4. So yes, they're Natitite, they're Totokan. It's important to be able to look at somebody and know that Indigenous is not a skin color. It's not a hair texture. It's none of those things. It's who you are inside. It's your connection with Creator. But we will have to adjust our guidelines if we want to survive, and that's that. Unless we're going to continue to pull from the same pool. But I'm not going to look at a little Indian baby just because they have blue eyes and tell them that they don't belong. So it will have to be adjusted. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. I'm interested in getting the outcomes of the feasibility study, but I don't believe that we knew no borders, and so I'm interested in including Canadian blood. Also, blood quantum was a colonial way to erase us, and I don't think that we're in a position right now as a sovereign nation and as being self-determination, we get to determine who our tribal membership is. And I agree with some of the comments that Jill Marie made. Being Natitite is not the color of your skin, it's in your tamina.
Thank you for the question. She hijacked everything I was going to say. But really, from what I was thinking and what from when you asked the first time, there was a general counsel about doing blood studies and also just how much percentage of blood do you have in you. That was one thing that came up, and I did get chastised by my uncle, during that general counsel. But at the same time, I do understand where he's coming from, because I have one part of my family that I have really no recollection of who they are or where they're from. That's on my biological father's side. I just know he comes from Texas, but he is Indian. And, he has all types of Indian blood inside him, and also coming from South America and El Salvador, with the Aztec and Mayan blood also. It's still indigenous blood. But from what I know, it always comes down to community and culture for our people here. That's what makes us a people, a community.
Do you have a question?
Would you like to make a comment?
Yeah, you've got 1 minute.
Malvin Jameson, X890. I'm also running for Board of Trustees member at large. I didn't make the forum, but I'd really like to speak on this issue because it means a lot to me. I've got a couple of grandsons that are really light-skinned that this community calls on all the time to sing songs for them and to be at memorials and all that kind of thing. And everybody wants this and this and that out of them, but then they come to a point, now they can't hunt, now they can't fish. They're culture keepers, a lot more so than a lot of our fully enrolled youth their age. So I think it's not about looks. We can marry Mexicans, we can marry Asians if we want to keep looks, but our culture is where it's at. So that's where I'd like to have my say. Thank you.
We are at the 5:55 time. I think unless anybody disagrees, should we wrap this section up and we'll get ready for the next group. And thank you. Thank all of you for being here. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your answers. It's really amazing when people want to step up and represent the community, and it's amazing when the community steps up to support those people for taking that leap. The next group will be more member at large, Kyle McGuire, Lloyd Commander, Mr. Toledo, Sierra, and we'll add Malvin for the next section as well. Thank you.
Test, test, test. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what we're going to do is I'm talking to the YouTube stream right now. This is for the YouTube people, but the YouTube channel is at Red Crane Records. It's R3DCRANERECORDS. We had to switch over from the other platform. So if you're listening on the YouTube stream, we're going to end the stream right now. And then we're gonna go into the settings real quick, change something, and then we're gonna restart the stream. So if you get kicked off the stream, be sure to log back in about 30 seconds to a minute. Thank you.